Hey, what's going on, guys? Gannon here, back with another video, back with another segment of the Captain's Chair today. Today we're going to be talking about something pretty cool. I had a lot of time over quarantine. I had a lot of hours to just sit there and binge all the Trek I wanted, which means I finally got through the entirety of Star Trek Voyager. Star Trek Voyager, from most people I talk to, is pretty hit or miss. I know pretty much everybody kind of likes the show, but I know that it is definitely disputed among Trek fans. I think Voyager has some of the finest Trek episodes, but also a handful of just the absolute worst episodes in all of Star Trek. My least favorite episode was definitely that god-awful one where they thought it was a good idea for a couple knuckleheads out in the Delta Quadrant to basically come up with like a bootleg trans-warp drive. Like, I have a really hard time believing that B'Elanna Torres and Tom Paris could really just put together this bootleg ghetto-ass trans-warp drive, and then that turned Tom Paris into this genetically mutated freak. That was an awful episode. Let's just get that out of the way. I actually really enjoyed Voyager, though. I actually kind of loved it. The thing that really kept me intrigued and stimulated throughout the first 3 seasons was Kate Mulgrew's performance as Captain Janeway. Captain Janeway is definitely my favorite thing about Voyager. She's definitely the only interesting character, I'd have to say, besides maybe like Tuvok for the first 3 seasons. You have this whole crew of lackluster, boring characters like Harry Kim and Tom Paris. You know, Tom Paris kind of likes cars, he's a mechanic, kind of got like a dad bod.
Tomato soup.
There are 14 varieties of tomato soup available from this replicator, with Bolian style, with pasta, with plain. Specify hot or chilled.
Hot.
Hot, plain tomato soup.
You know, not super interesting or likable from like a standpoint of me, who's just like a guy and I like Starfleet captains and space guns and pew pew pew. Yeah, no, I don't really like Tom Paris. I don't really like Chakotay. I mean, Chakotay's kind of a nice guy, but that kind of gets annoying, and then he's also kind of like scandalous on the side, which makes me really not super like Chakotay. Blah blah blah. All these other characters, you know, I've got a lot of criticisms about them, but guys, Kate Mulgrew's portrayal of Captain Janeway made me just so happy. She is such a great female character. So with that being said, today's video is going to be talking about whether I think Captain Janeway is actually like a good Starfleet captain or not. What do I think about her? Some quotes, some feats. Is Captain Janeway actually a good Starfleet captain? Well, spoiler guys, we're just gonna get right to it actually. I think she's a fucking great Starfleet captain, and I don't really see any reason why anybody would want to disagree with that. She's one of the main captains of Star Trek. She's kind of like the poster child for the series. It makes sense that they would make Captain Janeway like a great ass character. I'm so happy, by the way, that we got Kate Mulgrew instead of that other actress, Genevieve Bujold, that French-Canadian actress who was originally going to play Captain Janeway, aka Captain Nicole Janeway, pretty sure it is. Yeah, I'm really happy we didn't get Captain Nicole Janeway and we actually got Captain Kathryn Janeway, just because Kate Mulgrew is just clearly the better choice for the role. Her really like soft voice, just the way she looks, everything just really fits Captain Janeway, absolutely.
The Cardassians claim they forced the Maquis ship into a plasma storm where it was destroyed. But our accounts haven't picked up any debris.
Disperse it with a graviton particle field.
Do it. Red alert. Move us away from it, Lieutenant.
New heading 41 Mark 180.
Captain Janeway was a human female Starfleet officer from the 24th century. She is obviously most famous for commanding the Voyager ship out in the Delta Quadrant for like 7 years. Extremely impressive things that she was able to do. It is a little bit disputed depending on like what you're clearly defining as a first contact, but common consensus is that she is second in first contacts behind James T. Kirk, because this was mentioned in the 7th season of Voyager that she was like trailing behind James T. Kirk, and it is very unlikely that she actually surpassed that amount of first contacts like during Voyager. She might have done that in an expanded service, it just hasn't been elaborated on. So Captain Janeway is like number 2 for first contacts in all of Starfleet. Very iconic quote coming out from Captain Janeway. There are 3 things to remember about being a starship captain. Keep your shirt tucked in, go down with the ship, and never abandon a member of your crew. That's what I really like about Captain Janeway for sure, is that even though she kind of got stranded stranded out in the middle of nowhere, like 70k light years from her home. She's got a mixed up crew of these fresh Starfleet crewmen who she's just met. This is her first assignment on this ship, and they're all mixed together with these very, very conflictive Maquis crewmen 70k light years away, and she's just kind of like, whoop, gotta deal with this now, Kathryn. Captain Janeway definitely doesn't go too far, ever truly breaking the Prime Directive to where it's like, ooh, that's a little bit of a red flag, but she definitely does bend it a little bit. She says it herself in the Star Trek Voyager two-parter Equinox, which I will also reference later in this video. While talking to Captain Ransom asked Janeway, "May I ask you something, Captain to Captain? The Prime Directive, how often have you broken it for the sake of protecting your crew?" Broken it? Never. Bent it on occasion, and even then, it was a difficult choice. So there are going to be some situations where the circumstances definitely require Janeway to bend the rules a little bit, but hey, when you consider the fact that Ben Sisko is guilty of being an accessory to murder, and then Captain Picard totally just took Wesley off that planet to prevent him from being murdered under the law, a lot of the stuff that Captain Janeway does when it comes to bending the Prime Directive is really just unimportant and really not worthy of criticism. Some things we could definitely give Captain Janeway credit for is the fact that she was able to create the Voyager crew into a true family. She was able to act with such grace, responsibility, and bring out this maternal sense. Like, she is a Starfleet captain, but she's also a woman, and she does have that kind of motherly role that we definitely see throughout the series. She's able to bring this Starfleet crew together and then these Maquis crewmen and just smush them together on this ship and make them get along and actually turn them, come like season 4, 5, and 6, into a true family. Just like that quote from before, never leave a crewman behind. She never really gave up on anybody, especially 7 of 9. 7 of 9 definitely had so many challenges coming her way. Definitely was a huge challenge for Captain Janeway to acclimate 7 of 9 to the crew and actually turn her into a functioning like human crew member, considering the fact that she was previously Borg. Also guys, Captain Janeway is like low-key a badass. She has huge reputation for just being the woman that dealt with the Borg a lot. Guys, consider this. She had like multiple run-ins with the Borg Queen, and she was definitely not fucking scared at all. Go over to The Next Generation, go over to the introduction of Deep Space Nine, go to First Contact. You see that these Borg cubes are giant weapons of mass destruction that are able to take out entire fleets of Starfleet ships. But here's Captain Janeway out in the Delta Quadrant, doesn't give a flying fuck. Just, you know, let's poke it with a stick. Let's poke that fucking Borg cube with a stick and see what happens. Captain Janeway infiltrated Borg cubes, she fucked with them, fucking stole a Borg, just like has 7 of 9 on her crew now, steals Borg technology, all that. Just does whatever she wants with the Borg, and I think that's definitely Captain Janeway's hardest feature. One of the scariest things definitely in the Star Trek universe is the Borg. I definitely would probably rather die than be assimilated. Assimilation seems like it'd be lame as fuck. Speaking of assimilation though, Captain Janeway, okay, she got herself purposely assimilated for the sake of a mission. Picard got assimilated and he fucking cried and bitched about it for the next couple decades. Now, I know there's a little bit of a difference there, like Janeway didn't get fully assimilated, but you know what I mean. And even though Captain Janeway is a smaller woman, she's still just probably way better of a Starfleet captain than like most male Starfleet captains. Sure, she doesn't have the physical prowess that I'm used to seeing with James T. Kirk and then Ben Sisko, who literally fucking fought off 4 reptilian super soldiers and took them down single-handedly with his bare hands. If she was capable of those things, I'm pretty sure we would have seen it in Star Trek Voyager, and also that's not really Janeway's main shtick. Even though she doesn't have like that bomb-ass physical prowess, she still just sits on the bridge and commands the fucking ship as though she's the biggest dude in the galaxy. She gets on that bridge, she acts stern, she commands with grace, but also with a little bit of fury in her eyes. She definitely commands like a true captain. She definitely has the respect and admiration of everybody on the crew. Everybody looks up to her, and that's really good evidence for the fact that she's just a great Starfleet captain. Captain Janeway, however, just like any other Starfleet captain, has some questionable moments where she did things that were a little bit unethical, that kind of made you question whether she was doing the right thing or not, but in my opinion, she was totally doing the right thing, except one instance. This is the point in the video where I'm going to quote from Equinox a lot because it was one of my favorite two-parters ever, and there's just a lot of content that really brings out who Captain Janeway is as a character. Season 5, episode 26, the two-parter Equinox, which also is like season 6, episode 1, since it's a two-parter. That was the two-parter where they meet that other Starfleet ship under the command of Captain Ransom, and then they figure out that Captain Ransom is actually kind of a dick and that he is capturing these life forms that live in subspace. They kind of come out of these portals and look like Ghostbuster ghosts. You find out that Captain Ransom is actually using those organisms to power his ship, enabling him to get back to the Alpha Quadrant way faster. When Captain Janeway learns of this, of course, she gets super fucking pissed to the point where she's like, oh yeah, you're revoked of command, you're fucked. I don't know what the fuck you were thinking that this was appropriate at all. And then Ransom runs off back to his ship, breaks away from Voyager, and then it is a true battle of the minds between two Starfleet captains. Captain Janeway, though, kind of has the upper hand and is like definitely a way better captain than Ransom the entire two-parter. The only thing that Ransom has over Captain Janeway is the fact that he's got the doctor implanted on her ship relaying all the information. Anyways, I went to the Wikipedia page for that episode in attempts to find this certain quote, but it actually wasn't there, surprisingly. There was a lot of less important quotes there that I found. Probably my favorite quote from Janeway ever in the entire series happened in this episode when she found out that Captain Ransom was doing this unethical, abhorrent shit. She kind of got a little bit obsessive with finding him, like, nothing else is more important than this. We need to do anything that's necessary. We need to find Ransom. Fuck anything else that's going on. This dude is our main priority right now. This kind of led Captain Janeway to do some unethical things. She took one of Ransom's crewmen that they had captured and she put him in this room and opened up one of those portals, allowing the space ghost to come out and almost kill him in attempts to like interrogate him to get information out of him on Ransom. Chakotay, before the dude could die or before he could fess up, he stopped the whole thing, questioned Janeway's actions and the things that she was doing. At that point, Janeway went so fucking hard. I did not expect her to do this, but she just relieved Chakotay of command. I was like, oh, is something up? That really just happened? Nope. See you, Chakotay. Chakotay was like, you know, I can get why you're angry, Captain. And then here we go. My favorite quote of the entire Voyager series coming out of Captain Janeway right now. You're right. I am angry. I'm damned angry. He's a Starfleet captain and he's decided to abandon everything this uniform stands for. He's out there right now torturing and murdering innocent life forms just to get home a little quicker, and I'm not gonna stand for it. I'm gonna hunt him down no matter what it takes, no matter the cost. If you want to call that a vendetta, then go ahead. Oh my god. Ice cold. Ice cold. Chakotay didn't even know what hit him. There's another quote during this episode where she tells Captain Ransom that if we start to abandon our principles, then we stop becoming human. I really think that this battle of the minds between two captains is definitely a great representation of what Janeway believes in, what she's capable of doing, commanding at her best, but also when things get really, really against the edge, she's forced to do some slightly unethical things, which you learn she's totally prepared to do. That's just an excellent two-parter. Definitely recommend you guys go watch it. It definitely teaches you a lot about Captain Janeway and what she finds most important in being a Starfleet captain. She definitely takes being a Starfleet captain like really seriously. She definitely respects the uniform and the oath she took, and her principles, ethics, and sense of morality around the uniform and the oath she took is evidently pretty strong. Finally, I think the last thing I want to say about Captain Janeway is that she truly did help me through this quarantine, guys. If I didn't have Star Trek Voyager, Captain Janeway, and the crew to just totally binge watch and enjoy during this quarantine, I probably would have went fucking bonkers. I truly believe Captain Janeway was created to be the best representation for a woman in the Starfleet command seat possible. And lastly, let me say that I am so proud that Star Trek created such a strong, graceful, beautiful female role in science fiction, a lead role, might I add, and they did it way, way better in decades before the competition. Star Wars. Ray. That character fucking sucks. Yeah, but anyways, guys, that's pretty much what I think. I think Captain Janeway is an excellent captain. I think she's an excellent Star Trek character, and I love her. Yep, she's great. Captain Janeway gets a 10 out of 10, approved. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you have anything you would like to say or discuss, please leave it down in the comments below. I will be sure to get back to you. If you're liking the content that you see on the channel, I'd be very flattered if you were to subscribe. And with that, I'm gonna have to see you guys in the next one.